That Kate Middleton, the Duchess of Cambridge, is pregnant. Let's go to our London operation, check in with Richard Quest, who has the very latest. Richard, this news is just crossing. What do we know so far?
Well, I mean, once you've told the main fact, that's it. I mean, we do know, actually, that's not true. What we do know is it was St James's Palace which has announced that the Duchess of Cambridge, Kate Middleton, Catherine, is pregnant. And what's interesting is that there had been rumours, so-called bump watch, over the last few days and couple of weeks, as people have been watching very closely the way she was comporting herself, whether she was actually hiding the fact that maybe the pregnancy was starting to show. Certainly on a recent visit to Cambridge itself last week, there was some speculation that she was pregnant. Now, what has happened in the last few hours, we understand, is that the Duchess has been admitted to hospital. She is suffering from very severe morning sickness, we are told. That is the word so far. But no due date has been announced for when the baby will be born. All we know for the moment, happy news, that there is the pregnancy. The Duchess of Cambridge is pregnant, and we will await further details as and when from St James's Palace. Just bear with me while I just see exactly what's happening. Now, here we have the official announcement. Well, a copy of the official announcement handed to me. Let me read it properly to you. Their Royal Highnesses, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, are very pleased to announce that the Duchess of Cambridge is expecting a baby. The Queen, the Duke of Edinburgh, the Prince of Wales, the Duchess of Cornwall and Prince Harry, that's the parents, the in-laws and the siblings, and members of both families are delighted with the news. Here we go. The Duchess was admitted this afternoon to King Edward VII Hospital in central London with hyperemesis gravidarum, which I'm told is very bad morning sickness. As the pregnancy is in its very early stages, Her Royal Highness is expected to stay in hospital for several days and will require a period of rest thereafter. The official announcement coming to us from St James's Palace.
So the word coming from St James's Palace, Richard, they have a statement there. It's very early stages of the pregnancy, but you're suggesting that the rumors have been rampant on Fleet Street or in the press. For how long now have they been talking about this?
All right, well, good question. I just Googled just to get a feeling on that. Duchess pregnant, and I see straight away 2 or 3 articles from 3 or 4 days ago. Kate Middleton bump watch. Is Kate pregnant? These go back to sort of late last week, middle to late last week. And I think the reason is when she was in Cambridge and on her most recent engagements, it's the nature of the clothing, the way she's been carrying herself, all those sort of things. And bear in mind, I mean, this isn't just prurience and speculation. People have been watching closely. I suppose it is prurience, but you know what I mean. They have been watching for it. It hasn't come out of the blue, so to speak. So now the question becomes, when's the due date? Everyone will then be trying to work out when she got pregnant, all the usual things. And most crucially of all, it's important to remember in this pregnancy, it's not just another royal pregnancy. We are now talking about the heir to the throne. The traditionalists, the conformists, the monarchists, they will point out that this was Kate's duty and role in the marriage to produce the heir. It's always said that she has to produce an heir and a spare. That's what Diana did, of course, with William and with Harry. I'm being slightly cynical here, obviously, in that regard, but there's no question the child that will be born will be or eventually the king or queen of the United Kingdom.
Richard, we looked at the date here of the wedding, April 29, 2011, a day you remember very well because you were covering it. Let me test your royal knowledge here. Is that a long period of time to start producing an heir in the Windsor family or not? You were looking at just over a year and a half.
No, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I haven't worked out the numbers, but I'm guessing, I'm guessing off the top of my head that it wouldn't be that much different from Charles, Diana to William. You can check that, and no doubt somebody will tell me that. I think we're in the ballpark there, and certainly if you go back to the Queen and to Philip, you have to remember in modern monarchy, there is, to some extent, this conflict between the young couple with their careers and their wish to have a life, and, so to speak, the duty that befalls the heir to the throne and his wife, which is to produce the next generation. Now, that is a very black and white way of looking at it, but the fact is, in the House of Windsor, they will not only be celebrating, and the Queen will not only be celebrating a great grandchild to be born, but also the lineage continues. That prima inter genus, or as it is at the moment, if it's a boy, that the heir will become the monarch. Now, we're some way off, obviously, because not only, don't forget, John, we've still got the Queen on the throne. From the Queen, it will go to Charles. From Charles, it will go to William. So only after William, many years hence, will it go to whoever Kate gives birth to. And I think this must be the first time for some time that we will have had so many in the lineage still alive or in waiting. I'll check that for you.
Richard, now, not to let you go here, but if you look at it from a distance, you had the Queen's Jubilee, the wedding on April 29, 2011, and a year and a half later, the Duke and the Duchess starting their own family, if you want to put it that way. That's a long trail here of very good news coming out of Buckingham Palace and those affiliates of the palace.
Oh, no question. This was always going to be the next big development for the royal family, for the House of Windsor. It's been a spectacular year in that sense, regardless of the dreadful weather that we had. There were many people who believed, and I think that it's certain truth in this, that they wouldn't have, Kate and William, if timing was in their gift, would not have chosen to have a child during the Diamond Jubilee. They wouldn't want anything to detract from what was a stellar and banner year in the reign of Elizabeth II. Now, that is being very calculating about the whole business. So I think for the fact that you come to the end of what has been an amazing year for Her Majesty the Queen. Not only the reaction that she received in the United Kingdom, but all members of the royal family travelling the world. And then you have Kate herself with the terrible incident earlier this year and stories of her sunbathing topless. You end the year on this much more optimistic, much more positive note that the royal family is expecting a child that will be the future heir to the House of Windsor throne.